let's dive into what does that offer to purchase really say? What does that contract that you have signed really say? A lot of us, we go on to sign these offer to purchases, these contracts. We go into contracts we actually don't understand. Bam, how's it going? And in today, we are going to be talking about a recent article where an elderly woman refused to sign a transfer paper after the offer to purchase was signed and cash was paid for. And the question here that I want us to dive into is that, is this allowed? Is a seller allowed to change their minds after signing offer to purchase and cash has been transferred? Yeah, my name is TJ and welcome to the TJ tribe. I was looking at a recent article, and in this recent article, it's in the newspaper. For some of you who like to read newspapers, I like to read newspapers because they give me a perspective of what is happening out there. And for that, what is it that I can learn from there? Right. So, like I did mention, that this is a 93-year-old. She signed an offer to purchase, and then thereafter, everybody else who's involved in the transaction, the transfer attorney, the conveyance, and so on, they now go in to prepare the paperwork. But hold on, the 93-year-old refuses to go and sign the transfer papers. And it was later then found out that the actual property was then sold to a third party. Yes. So another buyer came in and she sold it to the other person. Now you could be asking yourself the question to say, was she really wanting to sell the property for X amount of money? So let's just assume that the 93-year-old was selling the property to John, and maybe John had offered 100,000, but Betty came in a few days later and Betty offered 150. Is she in her right as a 93-year-old? But it's not for me to look at how old she is, and that's not what the conversation is all about here today. But you and I, we are in business. Business is governed with contracts. So she has signed an offer to purchase. So that's a contract, by the way, right? And now she then says, no, I am not going to conclude. And the reason that I'm not concluding is that, oops, I've just sold it to someone else. Is that allowed? Now, you guys can go on and read the article. It is in the description. You will be able to get to see that article. It goes on to talk about other things where actually the firm that was managing this transaction, the firm that was representing this 93-year-old actually turned against it to say, you can't do this. And they caught the first person who was buying this property actually then took the 93-year-old to the High Court. And when this happened, there was a ruling that, the firm itself, how could it take sides? But you can read the whole article. I want us to zoom in into, is it allowed that this 93-year-old, but no longer about the 93-year-old, is this allowed for anyone who is in business to go through one phase of the transaction, right? Document it, give it to lawyers, and then somewhere along the lines just decide, no, it can be done. So the short answer to this is that yes, it's allowed, and no, it's not allowed. Yeah. I want to start with the reasons of no. Why no? The first question that we could be asking ourselves, seeing that this lady is a 93-year-old, was she on drugs when she signed the first offer to purchase? Was like, we all know elderly people. Like, I haven't had a 93-year-old in my family. People in my family kind of like die around about 70s and 80s. We've never had someone who's gone past 93. I've never seen them. So I actually don't know how a 93-year-old behave. But what I know is that most of my family members past 60, they are already taken in quite a lot of medication for this and that. And sometimes they forget, and sometimes that's what happens when you get older. So was she on drugs? Was she confused? Maybe. Did she forget that she had signed paperwork with one person and now she signed another offer to purchase to another person? Did she forget? At 93, maybe, I don't know, maybe you've got 93-year-old grandparents or parents. Are they still behaving like they used to behave when they are in their younger days? Are they still being able to get to understand everything? I don't know. I have never met a 93-year-old myself. But remember, this is not about the 93-year-old. I also want to throw in another point to say, maybe she recalled that she had a strong attachment to this property. If you've been around for 93 years, I've got businesses and properties today that are still sentimental to me. In my heart, I'm like, I don't want to let it go. TJ, you're losing money, but no, I don't want to let it go. This property, I don't want to let it go. I'm emotionally attached to it, right? Is this the reason why she maybe went on the route to change her mind? So there are many reasons, ladies and gentlemen, that we can dive in to want to assess on why she said no after everything was done. But remember, this was a cash transaction. So the transfer, in the article, it actually says that money had been paid. So which means that the buyer had actually paid money to the attorneys, and which means that guarantees were in place. And then the old lady says, Nia, I am not selling. I'm going to sell to my second person. So let's jump into those are some of the reasons why we could say yes, it's allowed, no, it's not allowed, and for me these are all emotional reasons. So I want us to go in and answer the question to say, yes, it's allowed, but under what circumstance, right? Yes, it's allowed for her to change her mind. Is it lawful for her to change her mind? Yes, it is. It is lawful, but it depends. And that I want to dive into roundabout 4 things in terms of how actually it is allowed, because I think anyone can do it. This lady, she might be smart. She is smart, I think, to be holding on to property all the way to 93. Maybe she bought it for 40 years ago at maybe even 20 rand. And now she's selling it for maybe 1 million rand, right? So she's clever. But I wonder what she's going to do with 1 million rand at 93. Maybe she can give me a call. We can hang out. Yeah, but let's jump into why this is lawful. Yes, it's allowed. So let's remove all the emotions. Let's remove the circus of we've paid the money. Let's remove, yes, we have signed the offer to purchase. Let's dive into what does that offer to purchase really say? What does that contract that you have signed really say? A lot of us, we go on to sign these offer to purchases, these contracts. We go into contracts we actually don't understand. Seasoned investors, they don't normally do a standard offer to purchase. No. They have a lawyer, and that lawyer works with them, like I have my lawyer, Elise, you all know. Bruno is one of my lawyers as well, you all know. I've got 3, and another one called Gareth. Between the 3 of them, if something is complex, I go in to say, hey, help me out here. Hey, help me out. They all have their own specialty. And with that, I can have a bulletproof contract. Remember, an offer to purchase, I know you're going to say to me, TJ, but we always get an offer to purchase from a sales agent. Yes, that's cool. It is designed for their business, but you are running your own business. So is that offer to purchase protecting you, putting you in the drive seat? Yes, there is plenty of things that you can change on an offer to purchase. But if I was buying a property or a business thereof, what I normally do is that I would actually put in my offer to purchase from scratch. TJ, now you're going to be asking a lawyer to draft that. They're going to charge you. Yes. If they charge you, you are better protected, because in the contract, it is going to cover what you want. And then thereafter, whoever that you're buying from, if they are saying yes to that contract or the other way around, it basically means that you're going to get away with whatever that you want because you have put it in the contract. What is a contract? Offer to purchase is just the name, right? But it is basically a contract. What two people are agreeing. So what are we agreeing here? So it's very, very important. I want to stress this out for all of you beginners starting in, for all of you guys who have bought in 5, 10 properties, for all of you, you bought a business here, you're wanting to sell it, and now you're going into another. For as long as you're in business and you are dealing with other third parties where money is going to leave your bank account and you're going to exchange, it's highly important that the contract is written. And the rightful person to write the contract is you. You are going to say, this is the high level thinking that I'm wanting to do. Then you go into your lawyer and then you say to the lawyer, can you document this? This is my high level thinking. This is what I want to achieve. Protect me, and thereafter. But if it's a standard contract, can you change it? Yes, you can. You can add in other stuff in there, and we'll come back to that. Now, basically when this contract has been changed, it starts giving you power on what you can do, what you cannot do. It starts giving you the ability to maneuver around because you now have the ability to do and don't do, and you exactly know what you are supposed to do, right? Now, I have seen, coming back specifically to offer to purchase on a property, because here this article here is speaking specifically about a property that was put in as an offer to purchase, and the seller, who's a 93-year-old, she decided no, she's going to sell it to another buyer. So particularly to this, I have seen many contracts where many are offer to purchases where it actually stipulates that when you have put in an offer to purchase, the agent or the seller can continue selling. So it's a condition, right? So even though you have secured the property with an offer to purchase, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is yours. So when you bring the money in 2 years' time, it doesn't necessarily mean that the property is going to be available. They will continue to market, and if they get someone tomorrow, they are going to sell it. They don't need to let you know. But hold on. I've also seen in an offer to purchase where it stipulates that once you have put in your offer to purchase, they will continue selling, but they will give you 72 hours. They will consider you, right? I've also seen in an offer to purchase that once you have put in an offer to purchase, if guarantees are not given until an X time, your offer to purchase is not valid. And maybe they give you 7 days. So it's a condition. Now I'm hammering on the term conditions. A lot of people don't even know what conditions are. I am buying this property if we do this. I am buying this property if this is in place. I will only buy the property if, so those are conditions, right? So you can put, there's no limit in conditions, right? But obviously you do not want to overemphasize on 200 things that you are looking for to just buy a 1-bed, 1-bath. Like seriously, you know? So you need to be able to create less friction with the seller so that you can be able to buy it. But you also need to be protecting yourself or put your guard up so that you understand what you're buying for, what you're buying into, or what you are buying, so that you are able to make money out of it. Because remember, this is a business, isn't it? Now, there's the last point. My last point is that the lawyers can also give you guidelines, but the lawyers can also miss the boat. And you can see in this article here, if you go on to read it, it takes in a little bit of an intertwining. And the law firm actually that is in the middle of this, who was appointed, is now actually under investigation. So the lawyer is your guide, but you need to be thinking. And then thereafter, the two of you, when you're working together, it's a combination. Now, this is a recent article that I have read. And every Friday we come out to you with an article and we try to learn from these articles. That's the motive of me coming out to you every Friday with a specific article. It's a recent, we can just call it here the news, right? For that, you can give in your comments. What do you think of this article? I'm going to put it in the description, and then thereafter, you can give your comments on what you think. But I'd like to thank you for watching. And if you've never subscribed and you are watching here and this information has been helpful to you, hey, hit the subscription button and I will see you on the next video. It is I, your boy, TJ.